At the beginning of the film, we are shown several luxury SUVs arriving at a house owned by the Abernathy family. These newcomers are four siblings, who also serve as executives across several companies under the Abernathy Empire, a highly successful business realm belonging to their father, Charles Abernathy. The eldest is CJ, who has been entrusted by their father to run the automotive company. Next is Madeline, who oversees the telecommunications firm. The third is Drew, who, together with his wife Hannah, manages the culinary business. And Drew is the only one who is married. The youngest is Kami. She is an influencer who also manages the family's fashion company. Their arrival is due to a formal invitation from their father. It seems he very much wants to gather with his children and celebrate his 75th birthday together. Shortly after, their father's personal assistant, Miles, arrives and promptly invites them inside. But once in the house, Hannah begins to notice how unusually quiet it is. Miles explains that their father has given all the household staff the day off. They then meet their father, Charles Abernathy. At that moment, Charles is surprised to see Drew bringing his wife. He says the invitation was actually intended only for his biological children. Even so, he has no objection to Hannah being there. Charles then explains that he will soon die, because someone is going to kill him tonight. He only has time until midnight on his 75th birthday. He instructs his children to stay so they can protect him. Charles says he has written a will detailing the division of his assets. If he survives and is still alive, all his wealth will be distributed among his children. But if he is killed tonight, then his entire fortune will be donated to charity, and his children will not receive a single cent. After that, Charles orders Miles to leave and lock every door to ensure no one can get in. They head downstairs and begin discussing what might actually be going on with their father. They think perhaps he is testing them, and that there is no real threat. Afterward, they retire to their rooms. Meanwhile, Kami goes to the wine cellar intending to take a few bottles as usual. Suddenly she hears a sound from within. She checks, but there is no one there. Then, out of nowhere, Kami sees a dark shadow moving toward her. Terrified, she runs to the door, only to find it locked from the outside. Fortunately, CJ hears Kami's screams and rushes to open the door. Kami says something is down there chasing her. Calmly, CJ suggests it may just be her imagination, glancing at the bottle in Kami's hand. Meanwhile, Drew and Hannah return to Charles's room to ask what is really happening. Charles explains that long ago, before his business became what it is now, he entered into a deal that involved someone's life. Because of that pact, someone is coming for him tonight, on his 75th birthday. Elsewhere, CJ tries to pass the time playing billiards, but is startled when his drink tips over by itself. When he turns around, he is shocked again. The balls on the table have reset themselves, neatly racked as before. Luckily, Madeline arrives, and CJ feels a little calmer. Meanwhile, Kami is at the pool recording a video. She is startled when she accidentally catches the figure of someone behind her. She turns to check, but no one is there. Kami resumes recording, and suddenly something strikes her head and pushes her into the pool, where she dies. A little later, the others arrive at the pool and are shocked to see that Kami is gone. They suspect this is not a mere accident, but that someone has killed her. CJ says it is impossible for an outsider to get in, given the home's tight security. He concludes the culprit must be one of them, and that the only person who is not a blood relative of the Abernathys is Hannah. Hearing this, Drew becomes angry. He considers CJ's accusation baseless, since he and Hannah have been together the entire time, and Hannah would never do such a thing. They inform Charles about Kami's death. Charles comes down, examines Kami's body, and, through tears, says that death in this family is unavoidable. Everyone is stunned and asks who killed her. Charles explains that before his business grew, he made a pact that cost a life, and it has now brought something that is hunting him. He then says that if they want any inheritance at all, they must protect him and keep him alive until morning.
Still work?
I'm not sure what good a rifle will do against...
CJ takes a shotgun. He plans to confine and guard their father in the library until sunrise. He continues to insist that Hannah is responsible for Kami's death. Shocked, Hannah defends herself. Her relationship with Kami was fine, and she never had any thought of hurting her. Drew and Hannah return to the pool to look for clues, but to their astonishment, Kami's body is no longer there. Frightened, Hannah tries pounding on doors and windows to get out, but Drew says it is pointless. Their father has bullet-resistant systems on all the windows. In her room, Madeline is startled by a painting that seems to be staring at her. Fortunately, CJ enters. Here, CJ says he is convinced Drew and his wife killed Kami. He tries to persuade Madeline to get rid of Drew and Hannah together, and promises they will split their father's fortune 50-50. Meanwhile, Drew leads Hannah to the storeroom of antiques and plans to escape via the freight elevator. But as they approach, Hannah is shocked. She sees a mysterious figure inside. Drew yanks Hannah back, and they run from the elevator. Suddenly, a statue in the room moves on its own, blocking their path. When they finally get out, they glimpse a terrifying figure within. They head toward the library to find Charles, but catch a glimpse of him walking toward the safe room. They follow, but when they look inside, no one is there. The safe door suddenly swings shut, trapping them inside. Elsewhere, we learn it was CJ and Madeline who closed the safe from the outside. They walk away, leaving Drew and Hannah locked in. As they head down the corridor, they hear knocking behind them. They turn to see a shadowy, human-like figure that quickly fades. Madeline steps closer to check and notices wet footprints on the carpet leading to the end of the hall. Suddenly, Madeline's body lifts into the air and she cannot move. She begs CJ to help her. Before he can act, she is dragged away. When CJ gives chase, Madeline is gone. Moments later, Madeline comes to, already in Kami's room. She sees footprints leading toward her sister's portrait. She approaches the painting and notices blood dripping from it. Then, the figure in the portrait suddenly emerges and attacks Madeline.
Kami, it's me. Come on, Kami, it's me, it's Mads. Please. It's me, Kami, Kami.
Fortunately, CJ arrives in time. He is horrified to see his sister's corpse seemingly alive, transformed into a terrifying ghost. CJ points his weapon at Kami's specter and orders it to leave. The ghost only advances, and CJ fires. The apparition vanishes, and CJ's shot has struck Madeline in the chest. Madeline dies instantly. Only then does CJ realize that Drew and Hannah were not responsible for Kami's death. An evil entity is roaming the house. CJ quickly frees Drew and Hannah from the safe and admits there is a demonic presence here that led him to accidentally shoot Madeline. He tells them to find a way out while he distracts the entity. Suddenly, CJ encounters Kami's ghost again. Startled, he stumbles over a railing and falls to the ground floor. Another figure, this one resembling Madeline, appears and drains CJ's life, killing him. Meanwhile, Drew and Hannah, in another room, hear CJ's scream. They hurry down but cannot find him. They go to the library to confront their father and ask what is really happening. Charles says that long ago he made a pact with the devil for wealth and power, in exchange for his soul at age 75. Lately, however, he has felt unready to die. He wanted another term of power and prosperity, so he renegotiated. The devil would take the lives of his children instead, and allow Charles to live as the last Abernathy heir. After saying this, Charles grabs a gun and suddenly shoots his son Drew right in front of Hannah. He tells Hannah that before midnight, only one Abernathy heir must remain alive, himself. Charles fires at Hannah but misses. She flees and hides in a basement room while Charles pursues her. Fortunately, Hannah finds CJ's weapon. She takes it and shoots Charles, hitting him in the abdomen. Charles collapses, and a large clock falls and pins him. Hannah approaches and says that she and her husband came bearing a gift for Charles, but never had the chance to give it. She produces an envelope with an ultrasound image of her baby, proving Charles has a grandchild through Drew. Hannah points out that it is nearly midnight, and Charles still has one surviving heir, his grandchild. Thus, Charles has failed the devil's terms. The devil will still claim his soul. Charles begs Hannah to save him, promising her a share of his wealth. Unseen by them, a demonic figure is already watching and listening. Charles' time runs out. At the stroke of midnight, the devil approaches Charles and takes his life. The next morning, Miles returns to the house. When he opens the door, Hannah steps out and says everyone is dead. From that moment, Hannah and her unborn child are the rightful owners of all Abernathy wealth, per Charles's will, which leaves everything to the last living Abernathy heir, and the film comes to an end.
If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, because by subscribing you have supported me to make better videos. See you in the next video.